I'm Kai for Rollover Playdead. Today, we're going to be playing We Forest 3. We Forest 3 is a solitary tabletop role-playing game by Jamila R. Najati. Now, we here in Malaysia are currently shut down, like in many parts of the world, because of the COVID-19 virus epidemic. And during this time, we're going to be doing actual plays. I hope everyone out there stays safe and finds a good game to play. I'd also like to thank our patrons on Patreon. Our new patrons, Bradley Gardner and Lowell Francis. Thank you very much for supporting us. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Michelle Shepherdson, our longtime patron. So, let's begin. We Forest 3. This is a solo game by Jamila R. Najati, and we're going to be playing it from the PDF. I've got a character sheet prepared here, and I've got polyhedral dice, and it's going to take about 1 to 2 hours on average. We'll see how this actually pans out. I'm going to read the fluff, the story text here. This is the story, your story. For a long time, the forest has always been there. Even when the city was built, its trees cut down, its fauna disappearing, even then, when there was nothing left. Even when our ancestors let go of the land, paying a terrible price for false treasure and hollow prestige, even then, the forest remained, its spirit in some fashion, its shadows and sounds residing in the forgotten parts of the city, in between glances and murmurs, in between heartbreak and lost stares. The forest remains, hidden, unbroken, patient, angry, waiting, knowing. And within the forest are sisters 3. You come from a long line of witch seekers, but for many generations, no one has ventured into the forest. We do not know what happened to the last one who did, but it's time. This is a journey only you can make. There is no one else. The forest is dying, and if it dies, it takes the city with it. Go, child. Seek out the Sisters 3 and make your demands. This is the city's last chance. So, there's character creation, which I'm not going to go through all of that in detail, but I've already rolled up stats and I've made my choices. So this is the sheet. Let's see here. Yeah. This is Rico. Rico is a seeker. That's the name, a simple name. But the forest calls me Kachil, which means small. For some reason, this is, when the Sisters 3 call out to me, this is the name they call out to me with. What do I want? What do I demand of the Sisters 3? I've chosen to ask them to make me the new guardian of the forest, to give me that power. I have three aspects here. Bravery, which is my ability to remain steadfast and strong, to act without hesitation, to withstand the timeless horrors and shadows of the forest. I have innocence. This is my ability to wield the forest's strange magic and to have my heart remain pure and bright in the face of the forest's ancient corruption. And lastly, kindness, my ability to remain generous and open-hearted, to call upon friends of the forest to help and guide you. I may have to test an aspect now and then. To do so, I'll take a 20-sided die and roll it. If I roll equal to or under the number I wrote down for the aspect, I'll succeed and my aspect sees me through. If I roll higher than the number I wrote down for the aspect, something in me is vulnerable to the forest and I fail. And it says here, Either way, follow the instructions. You're a good child, aren't you? You know that good children follow instructions and make it all the way to the end of the dark and terrible fairy tale. We don't talk about what happens to bad children. Not here. Thank you, sisters. We also have soul resilience. I've rolled 2 6-sided dice and added 5. The result was 11, so I have 11 soul resilience. I also bear 3 resources to help me on my journey: a flashlight, a map, a folded map, and secrets, pearls of wisdom that I've collected over the years. So each of these is represented by a die type, 3 risk dice that I have to choose. 10-sided risk die, an 8-sided risk die, and a 6-sided risk die. When I have to use these resources, I may have, especially if I fail an aspect roll and the forest threatens my safety, I have to take a risk with one of these 3 precious resources, and I choose whichever makes sense to me and my story. Do I use the light to scare away what approaches, use the map to backtrack and find a new path, or use a family secret to beguile a denizen of the forest? Then I pick up a risk die assigned to that resource and I roll. As long as I roll 4 or higher, I'm okay, and the resource holds and I'm able to continue my journey. If I roll 1 to 3, the resource is compromised in some way, and I write down what happens to it. And when I do that, I must knock down the risk die to a less powerful type. A D8 becomes a D6, a D6 becomes a D4, and so on. If I roll 1 to 3 on a D4, that resource is gone forever. Then I roll a 6-sided die and find out how much soul resilience I lose. And if soul resilience hits 0, it says there, well, you'll make it across the forest. You'll make your way across the forest, but what emerges from the other side will no longer be you. I'm sorry, child. Truly I am. And then I skip straight to page 21 and roll a die. If I make it all the way through and meet all of the sisters 3, then I will get a chance to achieve what I'm looking for. So I have filled in this sheet that you see here, and I've actually put an 8 in the light. I put a 6 in map, and I put 10 in secrets. I feel that Rico has learned a lot from his family and from his witch seeker teachers, and he has a lot of secrets. He's got a regular flashlight and a kind of an unreliable map. We'll see what happens with those. This sheet, which I've got printed here, reminds me of all the rules and all the choices I've made. It's quite handy. It even mentions how to track the Brothers 6. It says here, they may come for you. They may be tracking you. Whenever the Forest Oracle asks you to, mark 1 diamond below. And the diamonds are listed at the bottom of the sheet here. When all boxes are filled, the Brothers 6 have found you. There is no escape. Turn to page 22 and the brothers will decide your fate. So there's more than one horrific fate that awaits me if I fail. Scary stuff. There's some advice here. Trust your story. To make the most out of We Forest 3, remember to trust your story. This game is meant to be difficult, to feel like a wild roller coaster ride. You're encouraged to play as often as you like to try to make it all the way through to the end of the forest. Reclaiming an ancient forest and rescuing a city is not an easy task. Prepare yourself mentally for this. The dice can be cruel when they demand a tragic story. You know what? I'm going to zoom in this so you can see a bit clearer. It's possible that you'll fail this journey numerous times before you make it all the way to the end. But a journey cut short does not make the journey any less valuable or enjoyable. When you reach your end, allow the prompts and oracle to inspire a satisfying end to your journey. Should you play again? An interesting question to ask yourself. Should you play again? An interesting question to ask yourself is, are you playing a new character? What connection do they bear to the previous Witch Seeker? So I could see myself playing this over and over, repeatedly, and piles of failed Witch Seekers in the background. In general, when I come across a table, and there'll be a bunch of tables here, you're invited to roll 1 6-sided die. Roll against the table and follow the story to where it leads you. There are little gaps, perhaps moments in the story that don't line up completely. There are also spaces deliberately placed to allow your imagination to flow freely. Imagine you're telling a story to yourself and fill in the spaces as you please. Build on what's there. Have the story become whole, cohesive, and sing as you play. You are a character in the story, but you are also your own storyteller. So tell your story. Trust that you can tell your story. Trust in your intuition, your gut instinct, your primal reaction. Go with the first thing that comes to mind and run with it. The forest will sometimes gift you things. Remember to write these down so you can use these gifts when you need it most. For example, an encounter may gift you with more soul resilience. Other times, you may be given an extra die to roll later, or asked to skip a challenge. Follow the instructions, take notes, have fun. Oh, and by the way, if you gain more soul resilience than you started with, that's well and good. Sometimes we find more of who we are when we journey into strange places, yes? I like that. So, the first sister. The Forest Oracle, Chapter 1 of 3. The first sister. It's time to enter the forest to seek out the sisters 3. You take what you can with you, making sure your precious resources are secured. Roll 1d6 and roll it against the table to discover what is the city like before you leave. Strange rains and colorful lightning tear through the skies. What is the one area of the city untouched by the rain? Why? And strangely enough, I think it's a park that was left in the middle of the city, a green lung, where some of the old trees still grow. And there's still some essence of the old forest left in it. And that is why it has remained untouched. This is sacred to the forest, and this is the one part of the city that is not affected by the pouring, howling rains, which patter down and bring chills to the lives of the inhabitants. So now it says, it's time to enter the forest. How do you make your way? You find one of the oh wait, I have to roll here. Okay, let's see what I get here. Okay, 2. Let's zoom in and see this. On a 2, it says, you find one of the terrifying familiars of the Sisters 3. It's waiting for you to follow. Test your bravery to see if you can keep up without losing your nerve. And I think one of these familiars, it's like a deer, but there's something long and stretched about its neck, and its eyes are pitch black. And I rolled a 6, which is under my bravery of 14. So I succeed in testing my bravery, and I do keep up without losing my nerve. It says, if you pass a test of bravery, innocence, or kindness to enter the forest, you enter the forest without meeting the Sisters 3. In addition, you meet, and I'm going to roll here, and I got a 3. So I imagine that I'm stepping into the last remaining bit of Old Forest, the park. And when I do, it acts as a portal into the forest that was before. And according to this table, it says, you find a large man smoking in a tree. A capre. This is one of the creatures of Filipino folklore. He offers juicy gossip. When you meet the first sister, roll with 1 extra d20 and take the lower one. The gossip helps. So this will be effectively an extra die roll, a second chance to get a better roll. And the capre tells me something about the first sister, which I'll reveal when I get to the part where I meet the first sister, I guess. And I thank him. Then it says, the forest is full of mirrors, dark and gleaming. Within the shadows, your doppelganger awaits, waiting for the moment you blink for too long or forget to breathe. And I look and I see it's Rico. It's it's me, and Rico is dressed in office clothes. He's a office worker, a clerk, not particularly good at this kind of work. And I think it says there, it watches you with equal parts malice and jealousy. It wants the life you've taken for granted. It will do everything it can to take that life away from you. And I realized that this doppelganger wants to take me out and enter the city and take my life and live in my footsteps, work in the office, and who knows what malice and harm it'll do to my coworkers. Who knows what harm it'll do to my family at home. And I think of my family, my wife, and my parents. And then the moment comes. How does the doppelganger demand you act? And I'm going to roll a die and see here. It says, it's a 6, so it says, angry tears fall from the eyes of the doppelganger. Test your kindness to see if you can reach them and heal their broken heart. And I know that it wants something. It's all the pain and malice, the pain and loss and sorrow that was in my heart magnified, and I have to try to reach out to it. Rico's kindness is 8, so I roll a 10. If you fail a test of bravery, innocence, or kindness against your doppelganger, I have to roll again. And I got a 6. Ouch. The doppelganger laughs at you and leaves for the city. Roll 1d6, lose that much soul resilience. And just like that, Rico's lost his opportunity. His doppelganger has departed. And I'm going to roll, and ow, I lose 5 soul resilience. So I'm down to 6 points of soul resilience. That's a heavy hit. Well, let's see what happens next. There's also a result if I pass the test, but we can skip that and go on. Okay, so this part of the forest looks like glass. Parts of the trees are made from abandoned and forgotten buildings of the city. A few feet away from you, you see an elevator. It senses your gaze, and the doors slowly open, light spilling forth in harsh angles. Just on the edge of your hearing, you can hear someone calling your name. Can you resist the call? And it calls me by the name that is my name in the dreams of the sisters. Kachil. Kachil. I roll a die and see what the table tells me. It's a 4. You recognize this beast for what it truly is. Test your innocence to see through its lies. And my innocence is 7, so this is not going to be that easy. 13. I fail. If you fail a test of bravery, innocence, or kindness when dealing with the mysterious elevator, I have to roll a die and see what happens. It's a 3. It says, things don't go according to plan, but maybe you can use one of your resources to help you. Declare which resource you'll use and roll your risk die to see if the resource is damaged. Regardless, narrate how the resource helps you get to safety. I think I'm going to use my secrets. I've got very good secrets of 10. And I'm going to say that I can sort of guess what kind of spirit is animating this elevator. And I try to calm it and bring it to heel with my words. I try to sing a song. I roll a 4. So because I didn't roll a 1, 2, or 3, that's a success. I successfully use the resource, so I don't damage the resource. And I sing a song of the spirits to try and keep the elevator from harming me. Then it says, the brothers 6 take on strange shapes, forcing the forest to assist in their hunt for you. You hear the first sister screech into the night, the sound of many wings crashing against the sky. It's time to run with the forest, Run with its memories. Run with the last of the city's heart beating against your ears, drumming, drumming, drumming the way. Okay, so Brothers 6, I roll to see what kind of a challenge this is. 5, in the distance, you can just see it. The light of the San Telmo, a lost soul trapped in the forest who could be your guide. Test your kindness to see if you can draw it near. And a San Telmo is like a ball of flickering fire. It's the Filipino version of St. Elmo's fire. I can use my kindness, so I have to roll under an 8. And I call to it, I beckon the San Telmo. I roll a 4, that's under the 8. I succeed in this test, so I go to the next page and I read the result. If you pass a test when hiding from the Brothers 6, I roll a die. 1. The forest whispers secrets to you a lifetime's worth. Regain that resilience. So for getting the San Telmo to be my guide, I gain 2 points. So my soul resilience is back up to 8. Not so bad. And then the first sister grows angry, impatient, and desperate. You sense the forest begins to change in response. As her screams fill the trees, they scream in chorus with her, splitting in 2. Denizens of the forest struggle desperately to escape her wrath. They're all around me, right? Those too slow to react find themselves splitting into 2, soul against body, mind against heart, past against the future. Oof. Okay, so I have to roll to see what happens here. On a 4, it says, you feel yourself split into 2. Test against both your strongest and weakest aspect, but the higher number is your result. Okay, so I'm going to test against my strongest and weakest aspect. But I remember now, I've got a bit of gossip I can use against the sister, and it allows me to re-roll D20. So, no, I think it counts. I can see the next section, so it looks like that's not actually me encountering her, it's me facing the forest. So I'm going to have to roll this just once and see what happens. Ow. Okay. So this is my strongest and weakest aspect. Bravery 14, Innocence 7. Test against both your strongest and weakest aspect, and the higher number is your result. So first, I roll 5. That's under my bravery. Well, and my innocence. And the second number is 13, which is under my bravery, but above my innocence. Higher number is 13 then. And I failed against my innocence of 7. So I fail a test. I have to roll a die and see what happens. 2. Use your resource with the lowest risk die. This is the only way through, it seems. I guess it's my map. Roll your risk die to see if the resource is damaged. So, yeah, as I feel myself split in 2, I look upon my map. I roll a 2 that's below this 1 to 3. That's a failure or damage to the map. So my map turns from a 6-sided die to a 4-sided die. But that's the main result. The map keeps me safe. I'm able to just focus on the map. It keeps me from splitting, and I move on to the next section. You find the cave. It's made of half-forgotten things, abandoned items that were once precious to someone. It all comes together like a faded nightmare, photographs decaying on the walls. As you walk through the cave, you can hear her singing somewhere in the dark. She's calmer now, as calm as the sky is before the storm breaks and all hell breaks loose. She sings the song your mother used to sing to you, to help you sleep, to help you forget. You see her floating before you, her large bat wings filling the cave with its noise. Whack, 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 whack. Her hair is long and covers her upper body with its tangles. The lower half of her body is missing. Hidden somewhere deeper in first sister is the dread Manananggal. Okay. Manananggal, which separates from its lower half of its body to hunt. All right. I'm rolling a die to see which part of this table I'm looking at. It says you are fearless. You rush at her, grabbing her hair and wings, a scream tearing through your throat. Test your bravery. I have to roll 14 or less on this, so it's a 12. If you overcome the Manananggal, I roll a die and see what happens. 5. While her upper body accepts her fate, her lower half does not. Test any of your aspects. Ooh. And if I pass, I refer to the result above. If I fail, I refer to the table below. All right. I have to roll against my bravery, I guess. I face the lower half of the Manananggal. That's probably like entrails and legs and stuff. And I wrestle with it. I roll a 10. That's under my 14. I pass. I go to the result above. It says, she gives up her soul willingly. She leads you to the lower half of her body. You salt the entrails and she screams in agony, her body becoming fetus-like. She dies. Wow, that's gruesome. Why am I facing... I guess I have to overcome them all. The second sister, the Forest Oracle, chapter 2 of 3. I'll just let you have a look at the full screen there. Let's move on to... You take a moment to gather your thoughts, collect yourself. Take a few deep breaths. Hang on. There we go. There we go. One, and then another. One, and one more. You go through your things, your shaking hands reaching for the familiar. You come across one of 3 small glass bottles given to you. They each have inscriptions and prayers scratched into the glass by hands long gone from this world. Within this bottle, the fetus-like creature sleeps. The first sister looks so small now, so innocent. White bat-like wings unfurl, and it folds into itself, yawning as it pushes against the side of the glass bottle. What happens to the first sister? I roll, and I got a 6. The glass breaks. Shocked, you drop it. The fetus-like body of the first sister drops to the ground, trailing glass behind it. You blink, and she's gone. As you walk through the forest, some of the fruit looks strange, like flesh coming undone. You continue your journey. Wow. As you move through the forest, you hear the sound of wood whispering against wood. Soft voices, repeating ancient prayers in Latin, drift through the trees. A procession. You see them now, the saints of the forest. Their bodies are made of wood, their sharp noses and pale skin marred by rot and trails of rain from long ago. Some of the saints bear no hands, the others no heads. They move jerkily through the undergrowth, chanting prayers that rise through a fever pitch. Who knows what they'll do when they find you? Saints have very strange ideas about what saves a soul like yours. And I rolled a 3. On the table it says, when they approach you, you offer the ancient prayers handed down through the generations of your family. You pray for forgiveness, for life everlasting, for the grace of heaven. Test your innocence. This is very Philippine Catholic, I think, the way this is done. Oh, my innocence isn't very good. Rico's faith isn't very good. He rolls a 9. Not good enough. If you fail a test of bravery, innocence, or kindness when facing the saints, the table says, one of the saints reveals themselves to be a brother in disguise. The wood peels off of his face painfully. Before he dies, He kisses your cheek, marking you for the hunt. Mark 1 diamond on your Seeker's Journal. Ow. Okay. Next. Lights float ahead of you, urging you onward. The San Telmo, lost souls hiding in the forest, guide you through the dark trees. The sound of the market pricks your ears as vendors shout out prices and insults. Sure enough, you come across it, the forest market. The smell of fresh fish and vegetables greet you. Duende, Diwata, Tikbalang, all manner of creatures are here, offering their goods. This is like the goblin market in the poem, except this is the forest's own version of it. What calls out to you? I roll 5. The mouth of the sirena, mermaid-like creatures sing soft lullabies and offer comfort. Test your kindness. Should you pass the test, automatically pass your next test of kindness. So I'm going to roll a test of kindness that's an 8 or less. 1. So I succeed this test of kindness, so I will pass the next test of kindness. So I do well with so I go to the next section. A young girl and an older woman stand in a clearing. The forest casts shadows on their features, the moonlight cascading down their dark skin and darker hair. There is a soft humming sound, and you realize the young girl is surrounded by bees. Her hair and simple dress move like she is underwater. She's holding out an impatient hand towards the woman. The woman holds a winged sword in her hand. She shakes her head, no. They both turn to look at you. The woman points the sword at you. Me? What do they demand of you? It says here. They both look at you. You realize they've been waiting for you for a long time. Test your innocence to see if you can help them leave the forest. Well, that's not going to be easy. 7. I just made it. If you pass the test when facing the winged sword, you realize you stand in the presence of the truest saints who have protected the city for generations. You are overwhelmed and feel yourself fraying. Roll 1d6, lose that many points of soul resilience. Lose? Ow. Okay, I lose 1 point of soul resilience. I still got 7 points left. As you move deeper into the forest, you can hear fire crackling in the distance. The wind carries the smell of burning flesh. You look around you. The trees around you begin smoking, the leaves turning to ash. As the bark curls and turns black, it reveals writhing flesh underneath. In the distance, the brothers 6 howl. They're coming, and they come with fire. Oi, these guys again. What test is this? 6. A San Telmo, especially a lost soul purified by fire, should be able to help you. Call out and see if they answer. Test your kindness. Well, I passed the test with the Sirena, so my kindness is, I get a free pass, an automatic pass of this one. When you pass a test of bravery, innocence, or kindness when facing the forest fire, all right, 5. The fire burns and burns, and it hurts. It hurts so much in the bones of your soul. You stumble towards safety, but you feel a part of your soul turning into ash. Roll 1d6, lose that many points of soul resilience. Oh, that was painful. 5. So I go from 7 down to 2 points of soul resilience. This is not good. The brothers slink away, satisfied with the terror they have wrought. The fire dies down slowly. In the distance, you can hear the sound of tires against the pavement, horns honking, jeepneys careening in the night. You make your way through the forest and find a road stretching and winding between the dark trees. Who comes to pick you up? This is a mythical highway, I guess. It says 2. A long jeepney screeches to a halt next to you, loud 70s rock blaring from its speakers. A Capri is driving, his overly long limbs and thick body barely able to fit in the jeep. Got any spare change? She asks, chewing a cigar noisily. You hand over the change and they nod, giving a smoky kiss on the cheek. When the smoke clears, you find yourself exactly where you're supposed to be. Roll 1d6. You gain that many points of soul resilience. Oh, okay. 6. So it goes up from 2 to 6. Thank you, Capri. Rico says as the jeepney... Well, I guess the jeepney's gone. It says, there's just a long, lonely road ahead. It stretches on and on and on. On either side of the road, ghostly white balete trees reach outwards to the night sky, the very edges of their branches kissed by the bloodiest colors. The fog comes in, flooding the road and the trees. A taxi cab slowly moves towards you, wheels whispering secrets across the gravel. The taxi light turns on, and the ghostly remains of the taxi driver beckons you, urging you to come closer. When you get into the back seat, the road starts to melt away. There are only the balete trees, reaching out with warning fingers. See, if I knew more about Philippine myth, I'd probably get the warning, but I don't. It says, suddenly, the second sister is sitting next to you. The white lady of balete drives. Her eyes burn and burn and burn, white hot. Let's see here. 2. You climb into the driver's seat. You look straight at the rear view mirror, straight into her eyes. You speed up. Test your brave drive. Rico's driving, rolls a 6. That's below 14. Good. If you brave the white lady, let's roll and see what happens. She leans back against the back of the seat, closing her eyes. She nods and begins to fade away, her soul finally at peace. Oh. That was a mystery, but hey, I've braved the ghost in the car. Wow. Full screen here. The Third Sister, The Forest Oracle, Chapter 3 of 3. With shaky legs, you climb out of the taxi cab. The door slams behind you loud, too loud, and it echoes through the forest. The balete trees uproot themselves and slowly walk away, fading into the forest. The taxi cab drives off, leaving you behind. You look down, and in your hands it's a second glass bottle. The inscription on this one is a prayer asking for God and all his saints and angels to light the path home. Inside the bottle, the sister breathes against the glass, creating fog and ice crystals within. She looks at you with heavy-lidded eyes, the fire almost gone. Almost. What happens to the sister? 4. She glares at you, a cruel epiphany coming to her eyes. The fire will burn again, and soon. The scratched prayers will keep her bound. Just barely. You continue your journey. This part of the forest is full of banana trees, stretching higher than normal. The wide leaves whisper in the darkness. In the darkest shadows floats the light of a large cigar. The cigar is easily the size of a grown child. A creature of long hair and longer limbs slowly steps into the soft light, standing taller than any of the trees. Gripping the cigar between their teeth, they reach out and break off a banana, offering it to you. Let's see here. Okay. As you watch, they peel the banana, but the skin of it looks raw, bleeding. A collection of fingers reveals itself, hidden within the fruit. Ah! Will you take this gift from the Capri? Oh, crap. Banana. Hang on. Snack time. Okay. What do I do? 3. You remember the stories. If you pray, remembering every Latin word and without your voice trembling, The Capre will eat the fruit himself. Okay, roll innocence. Test innocence. I have to roll 7 or less. I rolled a 12. If you fail a test of bravery, innocence, or kindness when facing the Capre, 3. Your initial plan doesn't quite work out as intended. You are forced to use a resource to get out of this. Declare which resource you'll use and how it helps. I'm going to use my flashlight, and I'm going to shove that banana back in the Capre's face. I rolled the risk die of the light, which is an 8-sided die. I got an 8, so my flashlight is still intact, and I get the heck out of there. Killer banana. The air is humid. Sweat runs down your face. Your feet become heavier and drag. You look down. Puddles are forming at your feet. Thunder tears through the sky above, and a sudden downpour of rain freezes your bones. The water rises. You take one last gulp of air. The ocean rushes around you, and now in the distance, a glimmering palace. The Sirena, the mermaids are waiting. What do they ask of you? 2. I rolled 2. Dive deeper still. Explore the depths. Find the bones of enemies long gone, our would-be conquerors. Test your bravery. Should you pass the test, automatically test the next test of bravery. I passed the test. I rolled 11 under 14. So that's good. The water recedes. You cough out the last of the ocean's water from your lungs. You heave yourself up, continuing your journey. Aren't you tired? You look around. You are surrounded by dozens of black chicks, their feathers shining in the dark. You see dirty, almost human feet in front of you, toenails long and cracked. They bend down, balancing themselves on balls of their feet. They have a wide mouth and many sharp teeth. They smell of blood. The Aswang picks up a black chick and offers it to you. For you, my love. Creepy chicks. Let's see. I roll 3. It says, you resist and the Aswang grabs your arm. Their smile turns into a growl and you feel your body changing. Test your innocence. Oh, my innocence is no good. I need a 7. I roll a 14. If you fail a test of bravery, innocence, or kindness when facing the Aswang, what happens? It says here, the Aswang bare their teeth, ready to tear away your flesh. Declare which resource you'll use to escape death. Roll its risk die. I'm going to use my light again, my flashlight. And I rolled a 2. So I guess I escaped, but my flashlight gets degraded from an 8 down to a 6-sided die. So I'll have to roll this from now on. You're almost there. You know you can't confront the third sister with the brother's 6 hunting you. It's time. Now you hunt them. Are you kidding me? Rico, what are you doing? 2, it says you're ready. You're prepared. You steel your heart, clear your mind. Test your strongest aspect. If it's strongest, it's my bravery 14, which means I have an automatic pass on my next test of bravery. So I succeed if you pass the test of bravery when facing the brother's 6 for the last time. I roll. It says here, the battle is long and drawn out, but through bravery, innocence, or kindness, you've managed to defeat every brother. They are exhausted, but you are whole. They sleep and sleep well now. You carefully place their sleeping minds into puzzle boxes, small enough to contain their souls. Okay, I got a bunch of boxes. What do I do with these? You are tired. So very, very tired. Exhausted to the depths of your soul. No more you wish to scream. Enough. But you are a witch seeker. What else are you to do? The legacy of your family weighs on you now. Unforgiving, merciless. You choke back a sob and another. You wipe away the tears. You breathe and breathe again, a scream threatening to burst from you. Is this what the great family has been reduced to? You, Is this all they offer me? Ha! The voice echoes in your mind, and your heart calms. You remember who you are. Do you now? Very well. Come as you are, it says. All noise in the forest dies. In the sword-sharp silence, the trees turn into the darkest glass. The city's heart rises, and buildings thrust up from the soil, reaching to the sky. Tonight, the city dies, or the city is reborn. It's up to you now. Okay. The table says, you rush forward and leap, grabbing onto a window ledge, holding on for dear life. You rise with the buildings and take a deep breath. Test your bravery. Oh, an 18. My best aspect, and I rolled above it. What happens when I fail? If you fail a test of bravery, innocence, or kindness when facing the city's heart, it says 5. The city's heart roars in your ears, demanding all of you. Roll 1d6, lose that many points of soul resilience. Oh, I lose 1 point, so go from 8 to 7. The heart of the city strains and pulls against your own, demanding freedom, demanding worship, demanding sustenance. You break away from the entanglements of desire, pushing against the dark glass and kaleidoscope dreams of the city and all who live in it. I had a different name once, the voice says. The city fades for a moment, flickering like an old video. A mountain rises, crushing the heart of the city. The mountain overwhelms you, demanding to be seen, demanding to be remembered, demanding to remake the past. Okay, this is all like italic voice. They call me, all of me, every version of me. They call me Maria. Can you imagine? How dare they, the weak-blooded monsters from across the sea? They desecrated my body with their churches, tore apart my people, and cut out the tongues of those who remembered my name. It's been so long. I don't remember my name anymore. I only remember that the Pale Ones took it from me, took away most of my power, until all I had left was a memory of what we once had. This land, our people, and me. I'll take this city and consume it. I'll take back what they stole from me. The mountain rises, and rises. The third sister spreads her arms wide enough and tall enough to fill the entire world. The mountain sings, and you're forced to sing along with it. Your body is small, so small. Can it sing for a city fighting for its survival? Okay. It says 2. You can do this. You can sing this song. You spread your arms wide and give yourself up to the city. Your bones are made of the mountain. Your blood sings and sings and sings. You are a witch seeker. Test your bravery. Okay, I need a 14 or less. 15. If you fail a test of bravery, innocence, or kindness when facing Maria. Okay. I roll 5. Maria's song overwhelms you completely. Your fading memories are rewritten one by one. Yes, you remember now. You are Maria. You've always been Maria. This is where your journey ends, child. Whatever you've held on to is released. Whatever promises you made are broken. You fade and become We Forest 3. Tonight, the city dies. Your soul leaves your body. Describe this terrible ending to yourself. And then what was the city has come back as the forest. The city is gone. Everything that was built up over the hundreds of years is gone. Whatever has happened, however, Maria has come forth. She has prevailed, the witch seeker has failed. And all that is left is primal forest. Everything has changed. there's a whole bunch of text here for the ending where I do defeat Maria. I didn't quite make it there. Wow. There's a section for the soul falters, the forest oracle when the soul gives way. And this is where the forest decides your fate. If your soul resilience reaches 0 points, you leave the forest. And there's some results here. Wow. The brothers decide your fate. This is where you mark 6 diamonds on the Seeker's Journal. The brothers 6 hunt you down and what they do to you next. Okay, so it could have been worse. It could have been much worse. I can see some really nasty endings here. And that's it. The end. Thank you for telling your story, it says. And that was WeForest 3. There's a bunch of notes and alternative rules for playing with a companion. And then the last page we have credits. WeForest 3 built on the Forest of Macchiato Monsters by Eric Newden, a beautifully lightweight OSR system that can run many types of games. This game was created for the Never Alone Jam, hosted by Blake S. Blake is a wonderful person and brilliant designer. Please check out their games. Jamila gives many thanks to the supportive RPGC community. Special thanks to Sin Posadas R. Diwata ang Manila, whose love for Philippine folklore is inspiring and catching. She thanks Matthew Arcila and her partner in all things. She thanks me. To you who will play this game, I hope this journey is as kind as it needs to be. I'd love to hear your story. You can connect with me on Twitter at Temporal Hiccup or email me at swordqueengames@gmail.com. And there's some credits for pictures from Unsplash, design and layout by Jamila and Najadi. And there's a bit more. This forest carries a lot of my heart in it. I hope this forest, as difficult and terrifying as it may be, may bring you joy and wisdom. I think it did. It's a really trippy dream, and I can feel it's not so much comprehension as feeling that I get from it here. It's also licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 4.0 international license. It says here. The middle column is about how the beings in the forest are lifted directly from Philippine folklore. And in it, she talks about what it means to her, Jami talks about what it means to them. This version of the forest is what I have to offer you, where the Diwata, Tikbalang, Duende, Aswang, Capre, Encanto, Sirena, and Saints live. I highly recommend the book Philippine Folk Literature, The Legends by Damiana Eugenio. Okay. And the last part as an introduction to Sword Queen games, and where you can find more about where you can follow Jami and how you can support Jami. And that's quite an experience. I've got a lot to think about, and I've got a banana to eat too. But thank you for joining me on this journey into the forest and the encounters within. Wow. And I hope that you enjoyed this a lot. I hope you have a good day, and see us next time, because we have a lot more content, and we will have more on Rollover Playdead soon. Bye.